Hey there and welcome back. We really do have something here special today, and you can see it is pretty small. It's not any regular sized bike, and this thing came out in 1991. So we gotta run back time a little bit and go back to then so we can get a little idea of why this bike even came out.
On the 50-mile mark, Johnny took the effort to show his newfound maturity.
Man's quixotic nature has led him to undertake one of the most hazardous forms of human activity, off-road racing. Once a year, driving highly specialized vehicles like this 140-mile-an-hour pickup truck, more than 250 men and women will shatter the emptiness of the desert in a race they call the Baja 1000.
So the year is 1987, and the Ninja Turtles just made their first cartoon. The NES made its debut in North America, and there was a lot of leather everywhere. During all of this, Honda also decided to drop one of their greatest machines yet. It was the XLR 250R Baja edition, and not only was this a hit within itself, but it was also a clue as to what was to come with Honda. So it's 1991, and Honda has been doing pretty good in races. They make pretty good motorcycles. They're pretty established by now. So some of the people back at Honda wanted to pay homage to their race bike for the Baja 1000, which was a race down in Baja, California. So they had this bike called the XLR, and that bike was a really good bike, and it still is one of the most sought after bikes of that time. And as you can see, this thing has many of those aesthetics, marks, things that jump out that look like they're directly off of that bike, and then just downscaled like a 1:4 scale. And here it is. We have the dual headlights, we have the little mudguard at the front, the back, very stylish looking marks right here, the Baja, and the monkey, because this is based off of their Honda Z50 Monkey. So what they decided to do was take their tiniest bike and then just slap on a full off-road kit. Well, this is the result. This is what came out from it, and that was back in 1991. Not this specific one, because the first year, the first gen model, it was all mostly red. So red and yellow. If you see one of those, that's how you know it's a 1991 or the first year. After that, they came out with the second livery option, which was this one, which, although the first one is more rare, and I get it, it's a very nice looking one, I just think that the blue with red and darker blue gives it a nice little contrast. I think that this looks better. You might have heard the name Honda Monkey before, and no, it's not the same as the one that we got here in the States. We got the 125cc model. Those bikes are actually pretty decently sized bikes. Although small compared to others, they are pretty big bikes. And this one, you can see it isn't. This is the Japanese model Z50, or Monkey. Most monkeys are gonna look somewhat similar to this. There are very many special editions. You have things like the chrome, the gold. You have things like the 30th, 40th, 50th anniversary bikes for the Monkey lineup. They all are very tiny, 50cc, single cylinders, 4-stroke. They're not 2-strokes, surprisingly. And most of them are mated to a 4-speed transmission. Although a lot of them don't have a clutch, they're kind of semi-automatic. There were several years where it came out in that configuration. But as we can see here, we have very beefy looking tires, although most Monkeys came out with those. We have very nice white rims. We have a drum in the back, a drum at the front. And that is about it for similarities between monkey to monkey, between this one and any other regular Z50 you may see out there from this year. But it's a very nice looking bike. It's pretty cute, I'd say, just how down to scale it is. But we have risen handlebars because you're going to be off-roading. You want to be as comfortable as you can while having the best grip possible and control of your motorcycle. The gas tank, the whole shape of it is different. You have this long banana looking seat right here. And you see this a lot in dirt bikes and things like that. Of course, you have the long seat so you can move around in it while you're riding. As you're going through the dirt, if you need balance and you want to bring weight to the back or bring it to the front. And on the other side, of course, you have your gear selector on your left foot with your 4, 1 down, neutral, 3 up. And you have these nice blue shocks. Most of the other ones aren't colored like that or aren't as vibrant, They kind of want to make you pay attention to these shocks right here. They say Honda on them as well, which most of the other ones do not. Then you have these knuckle guards right here, so that when you're speeding down, you don't get dirt and things hitting your hand. Protects you from wind as well. And I think the biggest difference, and what you notice first, is the front 2 headlights. Now, the Baja 1000 was a night race, and it's called 1000, of course, because it was 1,000 miles of distance. Both the XLR and this thing have these two big round headlights at the front. Okay, let's get on with the ride. So we're gonna take this thing for a little spin just to see how it does. Let's see, let's do choke, fuel. Right. As I mentioned, this thing is a little Kickstarter, so how about I grab the key? I probably do need the key. Alright, now with the key in hand, we probably can start it up. And there we go, the little baby is running. You know, before even riding it, just sitting on it, it feels pretty comfortable. Like, the size of the bike itself is obviously very small. You know, my legs are completely in an L shape right here. I'm at 6 foot 185, and this is what it looks like. From the other camera, you were able to see the size comparison between me standing next to it and this little tiny thing. Right, let's throw it into first gear. Ooh, you saw that little... Yeah, that's how you know this thing has power. Okay, let's see if I still know how to ride a bike. Alright, so, as I was saying, you know, I could just tuck my legs in here, and I'm doing pretty well. This thing has no RPM gauge, so I don't know what my revs are, but I would guess somewhere around like 3, just from cruising right here. Considering your specific height and weight will actually affect a lot on this bike, and obviously because of the tiny engine and just how light the bike is by itself already. But we do have turn signals right here. We do have a horn, which is actually pretty loud. I don't think that's the regular one. They don't usually sound like that. I was about to get ran over right there. And let's just take this thing on a little run. This thing's so tiny. Right, I have ridden these things before, like Z50s in general. Not as Baja specifically, but I have ridden the other ones. And it's really not all that bad. You know, people in Japan do use these to commute. We might see this as a toy just because of how big our bikes are. But I could see this as a little commuter if I'm going short distances. And especially in Japan with how small towns are. I really don't want more. Yeah, I really... Ooh, a little bump right there. Kind of like a little off-roader. Yeah. This road is a little test to this off-road capability, but it's really taking the bumps not all that bad. Oh, well. So in Japan, the towns are pretty small, and most people just walk everywhere or take public transportation. You know, very unlike us. Let me get this thing leaned over. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, as I was saying, if you want to just take short distances, you want something like this. You don't need anything more. And especially for the 90s, you know, it wasn't like everything had 200 horsepower yet. This is, yeah, I could do this, you know, if I wanted to go here and then go a couple miles out. The banana seat is actually pretty comfortable. You know, I could actually slide if I wanted to go forward here. Yeah. And then just like tuck down and just, oh yeah. The funny thing about the speedometer here is that it has little like shift points as to where you should be shifting, and it maxes out at 60, which, you know, that just like gives it a whole sporty look, which I think is just pretty funny. You don't really take yourself too seriously. You know, I'm over here leaning the bike over, going over those little bumps. You in a car would never think twice about that, but this thing, it's like you feel like you're in a little off-roader course just doing that, and then just like sticking your leg out to lean over, and then yeah, this thing's fun. It feels like you're in a little race, which is, I guess, what they were aiming for, what they wanted to do. Japan, I feel like they've always really liked to do that. They like to take big flagship models and then make a little baby version of it. For example, the Honda Beat. They say baby NSX. They have the Suzuki Cappuccino, things like this, the MC22 Fireblade, the Baby Blade. They all have like the little baby versions of the super cool flagship items, and if you're on a budget, then there's options for you as well. And not only do they do that, but Japan also gives those baby versions actually really good parts, and some of the same flagship parts that they give the top model. For example, this thing, it has the dual headlights, it has the seat, it's lighter actually. I think I mentioned that earlier. It's, for example, the Honda Beat. If you describe that car, you'd think it's one of the top line race models, but it's just a tiny little K car. It has ITBs, it screams up to 9,000 RPM redline. It's a super clicky, tactile 5-speed manual. The Baby Blade, the 250, had the inline 4, screaming up to 19,000 RPMs. It's all just very, very cool vehicles. I feel like I could be on this thing longer than the R1. Obviously, given that with the R1, I probably get to the same location in an hour less than I would, but you enjoy every small bit of the road. You enjoy every bump, every little dip, every turn. Funnily enough, the Honda logo's right here. There you go. Welcome, Honda. A little gift from Japan that I brought for you that you didn't give us. And again, this one's in really nice condition. It's looks like it's really well taken care of. Smooth, everything works, all the lights, all the buttons. It even has a little tool pack in the back, very nice as well. The owner even has the catalog, the owner's manual, the repair manual that are specific for this bike. Many of the monkeys shared some of those things, but the Baja got its own specific one, and this bike has it. Oh, this is terrifying merging. Oh, it's so slow. Okay. But oh, this little hill. Let me help it. Back. Let's go. That is not neutral. I have no clue what gear I'm in. Okay, let me just shut it off. There we go. Yeah, that's just a little bit of the history of Honda. A cool special bike, something fun that we didn't get here in the States. Thank you very much for joining me on this little episode today. We took the Honda Monkey Baja out and we had some fun, learned a little bit about it, and overall just looked at it and dove a little bit deeper. And I just wanted to get this out there and kind of expose it. Yeah, let me know what y'all think. Let me know if you've ever seen one. Let me know if you knew about it. If you had one maybe, or just if you have a Z50 Monkey in general. This bike is actually going to be up for auction. It's going to go up on Bring a Trailer sometime next week, most likely. So if you're interested, or if you know somebody that would be interested, I know many people collect these, and any other that I've sold went to collectors. I will leave the link for the auction in the description if you want to go check it out. Throw a comment in there, or just look at the thing in general. Thank you very much, and have a great rest of your day. Goodbye. I also wanted to give a big thank you to Anthony for letting me borrow this bike, my good friend. So thank you once again for making this video possible.